One of you reached out and said that you were told that you have to stop wanting and desiring what you want or desire, or it can't manifest. That you're wanting and desiring it so badly, these are her words, creates attachment, and that you can't manifest what you're attached to, that you're only going to continue to manifest the opposite of what you want. This is what she was told. And of course, there's some truth into all of those ideas. But here's the real key. It's not the wanting and desiring itself that keeps your manifested or desired reality separate from you, or the reason why you're not manifesting or creating what you want, or the reason why you're creating and manifesting the opposite of what you want. It's not the wanting and desiring. That's natural. That's your nature, which we're going to talk about today. It's that natural urge to be aware and conscious of yourself as awareness and consciousness. It's that natural urge of existence to exist. That's what desire is. We translate it into people, events, and things from our physical perspective. So it's not the wanting and desiring that's creating attachment or creating a reality where you don't get what you want. And sure, we've talked about that idea, that wanting and desiring only creates a reality of wanting things and desiring things, that you don't manifest what you want and desire. You manifest or create who and what you're conscious of being, your truth of who you are and what your reality is. And all of that is true. But there's a bigger message here. Wanting and desiring is natural. It's innate. The only question is, are you wanting and desiring what you want and desire from the love of it or from the lack of it? Because that's what determines your entire life experience. Wow. So the wanting and desiring is powerful. It's a force. It's you as source and that creative force to create anything that you want as pure potential. It's an innate urge or impulse to experience yourself as that source, that one source, that awareness, that consciousness. The only question is, are you wanting and desiring it from the love of it or from the lack of it? So when she asked, because she wants a new love in her life, a specific person. She goes, I really want him, which is great. And she goes, I really want a ton of money, which is great also. No problems with that wanting and desiring. That's natural. She's translating it into this guy and some money. So what? Great. There's nothing wrong with any of that. So when you say, how do I not want what I want? How do I not desire what I desire? Well, you don't. That would be unnatural. That would be against your very nature or name as I am awareness. What is the name of God or existence or that consciousness and awareness? The name of God or existence is I am that I am, or I am who I am. In other words, I am who I imagine myself to be. I am what I want to be. I am what I desire to be. I am all of it. That's what the ancients were trying to tell us. You're already all that is, that you're already that pure potential experiencing yourself in every moment anew from a new perspective or vantage point or viewpoint. It's natural to want and desire and to be aware and conscious of yourself, I am, as that which you want and desire to be and experience as source, as all that is. Wanting, desiring something or someone or some experience is natural. It's your nature as awareness to be aware, as consciousness to be conscious, as existence to exist, as that self-existing intelligence or awareness or consciousness to know itself. That's natural. It's that one life. I am the way, I am the life, I am the light. And its very own will to live. That's what the will to live is. It's that will to know yourself as existence. I am. I exist and I will always exist forevermore. So want it badly. That was my answer. Desire it like crazy. That's natural. That's your nature. But want and desire it from the love of it, not the lack of it. Your source. Remember, you couldn't even want and desire it unless it was already an experience within you, unless it was already a version of you or reality that exists within you as potential. That's what desire is. That's what wanting is. You couldn't even think of it or imagine it or even talk about it unless it was an infinite potential within you already. It's a natural expression and demonstration of your core vibration and frequency as source, as all that is, as I am awareness. That is your signature vibration or frequency as source. And then you ask, as she asked, but doesn't wanting and desiring something or someone or some experience too much, wanting it too much, create attachment, resistance, importance, the idea of the teachings of Vadim Zeland in reality transurfing, where you create excess importance and excess potential, where the forces of reality force you to manifest the opposite, all of those ideas. But remember, your reality. There's no force outside of you. So that excess potential exists within you, all potential. There's nothing excess. We can create the idea of excess. But that only comes from the idea of focusing or desiring and wanting it from the idea of the lack of it versus the love of it. When it's from the love of it, you don't create excess importance. You don't create excess potential. You're just experiencing the love that you are. So the question, doesn't desiring and wanting something too much create the idea of attachment, resistance, importance, non-fulfillment that then causes you to manifest the opposite or not having or being that which you want to have and be? And I say no. It doesn't. It's not cause. It's not source. Hear this. Hear how they ask this. Causing you to manifest the opposite or not having or being that which you want to have and be. No. Why? Because you're the only cause. You're the only source. You're the only power of your reality. And that creates your entire life experience. It's you. The only thing, the only power, the only source of your reality that creates your entire life experience is you. No one and nothing else causes, creates, or is source of, or manifests your life or reality. Not even your own beliefs and assumptions. They're subject to you. Everything is subject or subordinate to you as I am awareness. You certainly, as I am awareness, can create that idea or experience by desiring and wanting from the lack of it versus the love of it. You can create that idea that you're creating resistance and attachment and importance and non-fulfillment. Or you can know yourself as fulfillment. You can desire and want it from the love of it, from the love of already being it. That's powerful. And not even your own beliefs and assumptions. They're subject to you in every moment. It's all you. The non-physical essence or teacher, Abraham Hicks, the law of attraction teacher, points to this idea. And here it is. Here's what Abraham says. If your desire, in other words, that natural innate urge to know and be aware and conscious of yourself as source, that's what desire is. Yes, it's translated into all people, events, and things. But its essence is a natural urge to exist, to know yourself as existence. Of that one life that you are to live, the will to live, the will and natural urge to be aware and conscious of yourself. So if your desire is strong enough, this is what Abraham says, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are. In other words, it doesn't matter what you're believing or assuming or being aware of or as your reality in this moment. It doesn't matter. This is powerful. She goes on to say, if you have a desire that is strong enough, in other words, she said that twice here. What is Abraham getting at in Esther Hicks? In other words, that strong desire, if you're not diluting that innate, natural, infinitely powerful impulse or urge or desire with the fear and lack of not being and having that which you desire to be and have. Wow. If you're not translating that urge into the idea that I am not yet that which I desire to be. If you're not desiring and wanting it from the idea of the lack of it. And when you desire and want it from the love of it, that's what she means by strong enough. That desire will be your dominant vibration because love is your dominant vibration. Because it's already your natural innate vibration and frequency as source. That's what they mean there. It will be your dominant vibration because it already is. And it will override any other vibration you have, any other belief, assumption, or experience. It overrides all of it. That's what they mean by that. That's how powerful the love that you are is. Wow. Lack and fear is unnatural. I am not is unnatural. It's non-existence, and non-existence doesn't exist. Your core essence as I am, your dominant vibration, is unconditional love. That's what makes it so powerful. That's what they're getting at there. Remember, I want to revisit this idea with you. You can't desire or want anything that is not already yours. You wouldn't even be able to think of it or imagine it or desire it unless it was already yours within you as potential, a potential version of you in reality. A version of you already experiencing it and living that life. It's a spillover from a reality and a version of you happening right now. Do you see? It's all you. Just as when you have a desire not to experience something, is a version or potential version of you in reality. A version of you experiencing something that maybe that you do not prefer. It's all you. It's all potential. So you can't desire or want anything that's not already yours, that you're not already a perfect vibrational match for. You wouldn't even be able to desire it unless you were already a perfect vibrational match. Think about that. Think about that. It's powerful. That's why you desire and want it, because you are a perfect vibrational match, because it already is within you. You're already that. You're just that consciousness and awareness that is now going to call forth that experience from a different perspective or vantage point or viewpoint. Wow. So wanting and desiring does not keep what you want and desire from manifesting. Only your insistence and assumption that you are not the identity and version of you that is everything you want and desire, experiencing and knowing itself from a different perspective or viewpoint. Only your insistent assumption that you're not the version or identity of you that already is everything that they want to have and be. Do you see this? And yes, she asked, is it instant? Yes, it's always instant. In the instant you transform, hear this, into the version and identity that you desire to be, it's instant. But remember, reality or appearances or circumstances don't transform instantly because they don't do anything. They're not source. They're not cause of anything. They don't have a will of their own or a power of their own. So they don't transform into anything instantly. You do. And you are those circumstances and appearances. They are projected from that transformed identity that you are. So think about that. It's always a new you and new reality in every moment. It's always instant. You transform. In the moment that you transform instantly And in every moment, you're transforming instantly. In every moment, it's a new you. So it's about you accepting and knowing yourself as that new identity no matter what. That's what transforms it all. It's only your insistence that it's not instant, that I'm not that which I desire to be yet, because you're looking for proof outside of yourself, and there's no out there, as John Wheeler said. There's nothing out there. It's you. It's your refusal to believe it, as Neville Goddard said. The only reason why you don't see it. It's your very own unbelief, that refusal to believe it. I spoke about this in a recent video. The refusal to believe it is unbelief. Remember, what does it really mean to believe? To believe means to be aware of. You believe what you're aware of. It's simply being aware of yourself as that which you desire to be, but you don't believe it. You're not aware of yourself as that because you're looking out there for evidence. But you're the evidence. Be aware of already being it, and that's it. You've transformed. Your very own unbelief that keeps you from experiencing the reality and version of you that you want and desire to be. Your very own unbelief. In Hebrews 3:19 in Scripture, they say it here. So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. You can't enter in that state of fulfillment because of your own unbelief, that state of where you already are everything that you want and desire. You already are it. But it's your insistence that you're not, your refusal to believe it. In other words, your refusal to be aware of yourself as already being that which you desire to be. You might say, but Tom, I'm not. I really am, but you're still looking out there for evidence and proof. You're the evidence and proof. And this is a continued conversation we had. But isn't it about overcoming and getting rid of all desire, as the enlightened masters do? Isn't it the source of all suffering, desire? And I say no. I know Buddha says the root of all desire, but remember, that's just a translation that we make of desire. Buddha was referring to the craving, that unnatural craving, that I lack something. Translating the natural desire, the natural urge to be conscious and aware of yourself as source into a craving or a need or a lack. So no, the root of all suffering, hear this, is the decision and choice to be aware of yourself from fear, lack, and non-fulfillment, and I am not yet that which I desire to be. Remember, suffering is a choice. Here's what Seth and Jane Roberts, that's that non-physical Seth as channeled through Jane Roberts, another non-physical teacher. Suffering is never good for the soul unless it teaches you not to suffer. It's a decision. You never rid yourself of your innate desire to exist. I am as I am exists. It's natural, it's innate to desire and want. In other words, to want to know yourself or experience yourself as awareness and source. Why? You might say, then why? Why is awareness and source? Because that's what awareness is. That's its nature. It's its fundamental nature is to be aware. Consciousness wouldn't be conscious unless it was conscious. Of what? Of itself, because that's all there is. That self-existing consciousness. Awareness wouldn't be awareness unless it was aware of what? Itself. Because there's only awareness, that self-existing awareness. It's innate, it's natural. I am, I exist. That's what existence does. There's no other purpose. There's nothing else going on except existing as that isness. So you never rid yourself of innate desire to exist, to live, or to be aware and conscious of yourself as all that is. Even enlightened masters have desire. Their desire is to be enlightened. Levitate, right? Go to the mountain. But they still have desire. As long as you're having that human, visceral, human, physical experience, you translate that desire into people, events, and things. And they translate their desire into the idea to know themselves as enlightened masters. The difference is that a so-called enlightened master, or the so-called enlightened masters, they transform their human desires, those cravings, that need, into the intention to know themselves as source. It becomes an intention to know themselves as an enlightened master, to seek enlightenment. They're already enlightened. They're already spirit. All of you are already masters. I get a kick out of when I see a video or some teacher saying, when I became enlightened, like you're not enlightened, but I am. When I became enlightened, this is why I can share. So the teacher gets up there and says, this is why I can share all of these videos with you, because I'm enlightened. You're not yet, but when you become enlightened, you'll get what I'm talking about. You see this? You're all enlightened. There's no and someone was asking about, how do I know I'm the chosen one? Everyone's the chosen one. Everyone was born under the lucky star. Each and every one of you. I want to remind you, you're so key. You're so lucky. You're so important to Source or God that all that is would not be all that is without you. Without you, period. Just as you are, as existence, as awareness. There's no conditions. There's nothing else required. Just you existing, and that's how key you are. Existence wouldn't exist without you. God wouldn't be God without you. All that is wouldn't be all that is. I get a kick out of these enlightened masters. It's okay. They want to see themselves as enlightened. When I woke up, when I had my awakening experience, right? I saw lights. I was in a deep meditation, and all these lights and beings, and I saw how reality works. I'm going to share that with you. This is how it works. But remember, that's your model. Reality just is. It just is. There's nothing else. You determine your experience of it. You're all enlightened. The difference between those so-called enlightened masters, they transform that craving or that human desires into the intention to know themselves as source. Source of what? Source of their very own enlightenment. Where many of us may translate that into lack or need or a craving. What we call attachments. Like, oh, I don't have what I want. I need this to be fulfilled. Wow, that's powerful. And so I want to remind you, there's only one emotion, one consciousness, one awareness, one I am, one reality, and you are that reality. One divine and conscious mind, and you are that mind. Having infinite experiences in every moment of that one. You are that source energy. What could that be? That isness, that great isness to exist and always exist, be anything but unconditional love. The unconditional love of existence, that self-existing source or cause of all that is. And within that, there are only two really emotions or experiences. I am experiencing that unconditional love, or I am not experiencing that unconditional love as fear. It's still one emotion. It's still unconditional love, but you can choose experience from whatever you want, but there's really only two ideas, two choices. Choose this day whom you will serve. I am desiring from unconditional love of everything, from the love of it. I've said this many times with specific persons, and when you're trying to manifest a specific person, you see so many videos, so many experts on this idea. But what is it really all about? You say that you love them, but I love them, but I can't get them, and they don't text me or whatever, but you're lacking them. Just love them. Love reality. Love yourself. Just be love. Unconditional love of everything and everything that you are. You're going to have everything. It's always about you. It's never about the things or the people or the others. Desiring from unconditional love of everything you want and desire to be and have and experience. Knowing yourself as fulfillment itself. There's that choice. Or I am not. I am not yet. desiring from the fear or lack of not being and having that which you want to be and have. The fear of non-fulfillment. The fear of not being and having what you want to be and have. Do you see? It's both of those ideas. Or ending up with something that you don't want. All of it. So go ahead. Want it badly. Why? Because it's yours anyway. In other words, it's a sure thing. It was never in doubt. Your fulfillment has never been in doubt. Ever. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Tom Kearin Channel in studios at Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, check us out on the Be Something Wonderful channel. We just released a video there. And later this month, the end of the month, last Sunday in June, we're going to have our next live event, our 43rd live stream, where you can ask anything you want, any question you want. And as you ask them, I will answer them as you attend the live stream. And if you can't attend, as a member of the membership channel, you can access that live event after. And not only that live event, but the 42 other live events that we've had, where we've answered all sorts of questions. They're all there, as well as dozens of other exclusive videos or content. And there'll be more coming. With great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom Kearin here on the Tom Kearin Channel. Until next time, we'll see you soon.